Fein, Art Fein's Poker Party, coming from Hollywood with a very special guest. That was a couple years ago, sound of Evie Sands, and we're going to be talking to her this show. You got anything new?
Sure do.
Let's hear it.
Just happen to have something. There were times I just knew that I'd never make it through this. So much of life is filled with sorrow, broken dreams and sad goodbyes. But I'm here, I'm alive, and it all comes back together when I can see the angel in your eyes. There were days that it seems I was going round in circles, and the distance there between us was the only place to hide. But it all disappears when we're lying here together, and I can see the angel in your eyes. Anytime you're feeling lonely, and if a teardrop takes you by surprise, turn around, I'll be there. You will always find me with you. I can see the angel in your eyes. And I'm here, I'm alive, and it all comes back together when I can see the angel in your eyes. I can see the angel in your eyes.
Neato.
Thank you.
Available on Evie's new album, strangely titled, Women in Prison. Why?
I just got out.
Oh.
They gave me $10
That's
and
good.
a new suit.
This is a public access close-up. It's a little different than a normal one. It goes like this. See, that's it. Yeah. Okay, Evie Sands. The label is Trainwreck, whether this British copy or in America. Cool new album, first time Horseman in a long time. You had lots of great songs in the past. By the way, this is Todd Everett. Hi, Todd.
Hi.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Evie.
And you got out this terrific new LP, so to speak, with the help of your longtime buddies, Chip Taylor and Al Gargoni.
Yes, it's really nice because this is a reunion for us, really. We hadn't seen each other or spoken with each other for years. And I ran into Chip. He was passing through town. It was the end of '96. I went to see him in a club, and he invited me.
Right after he was on this show. Right.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's exactly right. In fact, Todd is the one who called and told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was too self-effacing to mention that, but when I...
What, your name's here like in 70-point type, Todd Everett, on the album. For heaven's
In
sakes.
front of everybody else's, exactly,
Yeah, right.
that's right.
Dedicated to the
Right.
great Todd Everett.
And so he invited me up on stage to sing, and we did some of our earlier stuff together, and afterwards we spoke for a long time. It was great, and somehow here we are.
Somehow it resulted in an album.
And she finally made it to the poker party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking you for most of '98, but held out until now. Let's talk about the past first, and then we'll talk about what you're doing now. You have some things to say about the previous record you made, do you not?
Yes, you mean some of the early stuff?
Yeah. Were you planning on covering that tonight, or?
Sure,
Yeah,
whatever you want to talk about.
Let's do that. So we'll do that, and then move on to something else. But I mean, you have a musical patter that goes along with it, don't you?
Well, do you want to start with the earliest stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the earliest stuff here was the first song was one that was basically stolen by a shady promoter. It was then taken to a recording session and given to another artist to make a copycat version of. It was rushed out on the
So
street.
I like more. This is in New York City?
Yes.
This took place in.
What
song was this? So I know you're probably leading up to it, but what song was it?
The song was "Take Me for a Little While," and we recorded it in New York. I believe the incident happened in Chicago, I think. Is where
Somebody
it was.
heard your version from New York and decided to
Right,
cover it
was
real
a
fast.
test.
Test
It was
pressing?
a test pressing. And then they took it, they made basically an imitation version, and they rushed it out on the streets.
And that was by whom?
Jackie Ross.
Oh, yeah, it was Chess, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That was Chess. She was coming off a #1 record then. So I remember it was just the next week they took out this huge ad in Billboard. It said, "Destined to be #1, take me for a little while." And I remember Chip had looked at it, I looked at it and thought, oh, gee, what bad luck. A song with the same title, and it's out just a week ahead of ours. Oh,
Wow.
boy, what bad timing.
Wow.
Then we find out the truth, that forget the title, it was our
Is this
song.
the publishers doing it? In other words, Chip and Al wrote it, right?
No, actually, Trade Martin was the writer of
I
that.
see.
Chip and Al produced it.
But can't you keep somebody
That's what I
from
mean,
recording
yeah.
something the first time out? I know after somebody's released it, it's fair
Well,
game
yes,
for
see,
anybody, but
exactly, right, compulsory license and all that legal stuff. But what happened is, what they did really was illegal in a sense, because technically it was not even released. It was only a test pressing. So exactly what they did. In fact, jumping ahead of the story then, that's why eventually they, after whatever it was, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, Chess pulled her record, took it off the market, because they knew
They were in
what they
violation
had
or
done
something.
was really
The
wrong.
guys in the
After the
shiny-
whole thing was messed up,
Yeah,
they got rid of
wow.
it.
if the guys in the shiny suits and broken noses at Redbird went after the guy with the shiny suits and the broken noses in Chicago,
Todd, I wasn't going to say it, but I was just thinking it and you read my mind. There were a few interesting phone calls, I'm sure, that went on then. I was a little kid, but...
So they squelched the one that was moving because it came out first, and then yours was waiting in the wings, but there was no wings, there was no bird on the wings, or something like that.
Well, what
Under the
happened,
wings.
mine did come out,
Well,
but...
Redbird, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Blue Cat. It came out on
actually
Blue Cat.
Blue Cat.
subsidiary of Redbird.
Right, which was Lieber and Stoller's company, and George Golder at the time. But mine did come out, but there was such confusion because hers came out first that it kind of discouraged everybody, and radio wasn't happy. Then the few stations that had gone on hers were upset because then it was pulled and it was climbing the charts. So
And
there
that
were
was
only
your
a
first
few.
record ever. You were a totally unknown quantity at that point,
Right.
and she had, as you say,
She was just coming off a
come
number
off a big
number
record.
one
Yeah.
song, yeah.
So
So
precious,
Selfish One.
selfish one.
And so there were only a few stations, a few cities really, that were just kind of watching it all happen. And so wherever it was played, it was a hit, but just a few.
So how does that song go?
Okay, that song goes. Here's just a little bit of it. I've been trying to make you love me, but everything I try just takes you further from me. You don't love me, no, no, so you treat me cruel. But no matter how you hurt me, I'll always be your fool. But if you don't want me forever, and if you don't need me forever, and if you can't love me forever, take me for a little while so I can hold you, baby, so I can make you want me. I've gotta have you, baby.
Great. So, what was your next step after
So,
that successful jaunt?
So then we put out another song. Chip and Al wrote it. It was a song called "I Can't Let Go," and then basically radio was still pretty upset with the whole "Take Me for a Little While" business. So they were not still too thrilled about playing it.
Is this also on Blue Cat?
Yes, on Blue Cat. But in the meantime, there were some artists who had become fans, and one was a group from England called the Hollies. So they immediately recorded it, and it became I guess one of their biggest
Friends
international
like
hits.
that. With fans like that, you don't need enemies.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. Right. So,
Well,
How does
that
that-
one kind of goes like this a little bit. I try and I try, but I can't say goodbye. Feel so bad, baby. Ooh, it hurts me when I think of how you loved and deserved me. I'm the broken-hearted toy to play with, baby. I can't let go, baby. I'm hung on you, baby. Baby, please, I can't let go. I said I can't let go, no, no. Don't you know it feels so good? Oh, that I can't let go. And you're probably thinking that you're missing the part that goes, got me going, I need you, baby. I can't let go, and I want you. See, all that kind of happens simultaneously.
Was that
We need to-
written that way, or did that sort of work out in the studio with the
I
counter
think-
melody thing?
I think what really happened is I think that's what the song, the lead sheet is. Got me going. And I think what
So
I
your
did
part
was, I think just the ad lib part or something. I think.
which wound up sort of being the lead.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I'm not
It
positive.
kind of sounds that way. Yeah.
by the way, Mr. Director, I hope you're putting her name under once in a while. I didn't mention that beforehand, but Evie Sands is a great name. We want to see it. Another installment in the story?
Well, let's see. Okay, so continuing on, what we did is we put out another. Now we left Blue Cat folded. That was the end. We went to another label, and that was Cameo.
You're on its last legs.
And I guess, I mean, I was a little kid, so I didn't pay attention to that stuff then.
Well, and this was a big label. This was the label of Chubby Checker and Bobby Rydell and the Orlons and
I guess in the early days of the early good days,
D.D.
right?
Sharp, question mark,
All
and the
6 and
Manchurians.
7 years before she joined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, way
Well,
ahead of
question
time.
mark and Mysterious, yeah.
Right, in the later
Terry Knight
years.
in the Pack.
Bob Seger was on the label
Bob
then
Seger.
too at that time. So we put out this song, which was a Chip Taylor song. And after about a week, it was the #1 most requested song on the radio, so I was really excited because it looked really good. But also after about that week, the label went bankrupt. So that was it. Nobody could buy it
What
in the
song
stores.
was that?
Well, even though no one ever really probably heard my version except on the radio, somehow I have a feeling when I play this you'll know what it is. 'Cause somehow it did go on to be successful. That one is, let's see, I'll do it in this key. There'll be no strings to bind your hands, not if my love can't bind your heart. And there's no need to take a stand, for it was I who chose to start. I see no need to take me home. I'm old enough to face the dawn. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just touch my cheek before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away from me.
Wow. So, great sound, great version, great song, and there it went, flew away.
There it went. So Merrilee Rush heard it on the air, and she said, "Hey, I like that song. I'm going to record it," and it was #1 for her.
Well, wasn't there a lag of 6 or 8 months or something like that?
Maybe not. I don't even think that long. Like 4, maybe 6 months at the most,
Yeah.
but about 4 months.
But then there's a happier story.
Then we recorded. Then, of course, that label folded, like I said. So we went to A&M, and then this one did
You didn't
well.
kill that label.
No.
Okay.
No, it took.
Not until
No,
last year.
it took Jabba the Hutt to kill that label. Called we won't get into that one. This one did real well. It sold over 500,000 copies for me.
When was this? 70?
Yeah, 69, 70.
When you were, what, 3?
If it's love that you want, baby, you've got it. From the depths of my soul, baby, you've got it. But I've been watching you, and I don't think that's your game. Boy, there's no need to explain. Any way that you want me, any way that you'll take me, any way that you'll make me be a part of you, baby. And nothing you could say or do can make my love grow colder. And only yesterday somebody said you're getting older. And I want your morning nights to smile down on me, baby. Any way that you want me.
Great, cool. I imagine by now you learned your lesson and you recorded in a bank vault, and everyone leaving was searched to see if there's any copies on them.
Yes, right.
Okay, good.
Let's jump way up to the present. You recorded this album, and
This album.
yes, the Women in
The new
Prison
one.
album, and we're over in the United Kingdom promoting it. And you met some perhaps unexpected fans in Scotland. Would you care to share that with us?
Oh yes, great thrill. There's a movement over there, Northern Soul, where it's really a great thing in England and basically in the UK. And we were going to do a show in Glasgow, and then we got this call that there was a band that wanted to know if they could back me up. They asked the promoter. It turned out to be Belle and Sebastian, they're a great band. They just this year they just won the Brit Award for Best New Artist. And I said, yeah, it would be great. They hadn't heard the new stuff yet, but they said, how about, are you going to do any of your early things? So we did this show in like a 130-year-old church in Glasgow, and it was the most amazing event that I will always remember.
So was it a UK tour or just up in Glasgow?
Yeah, we did some stuff in the UK, and also we went to Holland and did a bunch of cities in Holland. We went to Brussels, and London.
And then you wound up cutting some stuff with Belle and Sebastian, right? Singing on their.
Yeah, actually, at the end of the concert, they said, "Oh, when are you going back?" I said, "Well, tomorrow morning early." And so we just went to the studio really early, and they asked me to sing on. I guess it'll be on this new album of theirs. It's coming out, I think, toward the end of the summer. They asked me to sing on one of the songs. We had like about 45 minutes to do it, and really what they had done was they had given such a musical gift of love. I really wanted to be able to give that back, and so I think it worked out well.
Speaking of sharing, you have Lucinda Williams on one of your cuts on here. How did you get together with her?
Lucinda is a good friend of Chip's, and also Tommy Spurlock, who was involved with us on this album, and we spent a fair bit of time in Nashville working on it, writing it and recording. Also in New York too, but I think we did more in Nashville. And we actually had a very, very early listening party when we were just kind of starting out, because Lucinda and some other friends down there were saying, hey, what are you guys doing there in the studio? We said, all right, well, come on over and listen. And she really liked what we were doing, and afterwards said, you know, I would really like to do something with you sometime. And what the song is about, the one that she sang with me on, basically it's a tribute to all the early blues artists.
Want to do that one?
Yeah, well, you know how we know that they were all ripped off, and so Lucinda's really passionate about that as well, so it was a perfect thing for us to sing on. And actually this one, about maybe it's 6 weeks ago now, was #1 on one of the radio networks in the UK and Europe for their independent label, so it was really
It's
exciting.
called Cool Blues Story.
Yes. See, I guess do it in this key here. Well, Robert Johnson was up to his tricks. He cut some side back in 36. Crossroads in the walking blues. Laurie Fein to the straight and you. It's a cool blues story and it sounds fine, but Robert Johnson never made a dime. It's a shame, it's a crime. That's the way it goes.
That's telling them.
There you go.
There you go.
On the photo on the album cover, you're wearing your guitar strap says Los Angeles '84. Were you the official girl singer-songwriter of the Olympics? Or?
That was me. I was. Remember me with all the? I carried the torch up there. Remember?
That's it. There's no answer, I guess.
Well, no. Well, actually,
that's
actually Tommy Spurlock's guitar strap.
Oh.
So we have to ask him that question.
So Women in Prison is available widely on Trainwreck Records.
And if I might say, we've been doing a lot of shows and touring around, and if anybody's interested, just check the website. They have a website, Trainwreck Records, one word, trainwreckrecords.com.
And where have you been touring?
Well, let's see. We talked about the UK and Europe. Then when it was released here in the States, I did a show with Chip at the Bottom Line in New York to kind of kick it off. And then since I've been back on the West Coast doing some things in LA, Monterey, San Francisco, Ventura, all up and down, and we're booking some stuff now in the West Coast.
Somebody had told me that you might be touring with Greg Knowles this summer. Is there anything to that?
Well, Greg has been playing with me in my band. He's been playing drums,
Yeah.
so
So if you're with a band, he would be there.
So if, yeah, some of the things with a band.
The way it was put to me, and the person didn't necessarily know, it sounded like there was a real tour involved.
Well, there's a bunch of different things, you know, like festivals and.
Well, it's all hypothetical right now, and we only have 2.5 minutes left, so we have to hear some more music. Please, Miss.
So.
Miss Evie.
All right. Well, here's.
Is that long for Eve? Evie.
Evie. No, it's just
No,
Evie.
it is
Yeah,
Evie.
Evie.
Driver license.
So here's another thing from the album. We can. I guess are we going to wind up fading out into this?
I think so.
Into the sunset.
It takes 3 minutes or longer.
All right. Well,
What song is this?
Fingerprint Me, Baby.
Okay.
That's what they did when they
When you
booked
were-
me. Yeah.
when you were in prison. Okay.
Fingerprint me, baby. I've been your bad, bad girl. I've been a wild child, don't need a shove. Lock me up in your prison of love. Throw away the key. There's nothing bad in me. Fingerprint me, baby. Fingerprint me, baby. I've been your bad, bad girl. I've been rope tied, put up and wet. Better book me, baby, before you get upset. If you don't set me free, I'll be bad as I can be. Fingerprint me now. You better do something quick before I get away. You don't wanna know the games your little girl can play. Fingerprint me, baby. I've been a bad, bad girl. I've been a wild child, don't need a shove. Lock me up in your prison of love. Throw away the key. There's nothing bad as me. Fingerprint me, baby. There's nothing bad as me. Fingerprint me now. There's nothing bad as me. Fingerprint me now.
This may have been a well-timed ending. There it is. Thank you, Evie.
Thank you, Art and Todd.